Hello, you lovely bunch. No respawns here. Hope you're doing well. So this is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. The original, well, not really the original because Redemption came out before that, a few years before. However, this is the best one, basically. And the game that everyone has been talking about recently because the sequel, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, has been announced by Paradox, and they've posted a kind of sort of launch, well, not sort of, an exact launch trailer, which looks really, really cool. So I'm going to link that in the description. Definitely check it out. But what I wanted to do is use this as a launching point to show off possibly one of my favourite games of all time. Easily one of the games that defined my teenage, very gothy, very angsty years back in the early 2000s. And yeah, so I've actually got a physical copy of it, but unfortunately I haven't actually had a CD drive in my computer in ages, so I went and actually purchased it again from GOG. So I'm going to link in the description as well, the GOG, it's just on PC, but it's the GOG link and also the Steam link as well. The reason being is it's currently on sale as of me recording this video on GOG for about £3.75, so it's probably what, $5 or something, and various other currencies. However, obviously this video will be out, it might be a month or two from when I actually post this video, and potentially, there might be a different sale on. So check the Steam link as well if you're not, watching this in March, basically, 2019. Anyway, so let me just give you a little bit of an overview. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you around a little bit. I just want to kind of show you a bit of the game. Not really spoil anything for you because it's one of those games that it's very much a story-driven RPG, and I would just definitely want you guys to try this out. It's a bit, potentially a bit dated, as you can see, but I think it's aged quite well. So what is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines? Right, so firstly, it's based off a kind of paper role-playing RPG similar to D&D called, well, it's part of the World of Darkness series. Now, I'll be transparent, I've never actually played that myself. However, I am familiar with it quite a bit, and also because this game is quite lore-heavy, I've spent a long time reading. I've just never played it myself. I think Jim Sterling made a video recently, kind of expanding on the same issue, where basically a lot of us will actually be very familiar with the World of Darkness lore through the game, and then select few will be familiar about it surrounding the board game and the kind of paper RPG. However, that potentially might be crossover there. But I just wanted to show it off. So effectively, this is vampires before they got ruined by Twilight. So this is in kind of the later Buffy years, when Anne Rice was booming, Blade was still a thing, and just very, very cool. It's very kind of, I guess, gritty vampires with a certain kind of late 90s, early 2000s coolness about them. So, lots of leather, a little bit aloof, that kind of thing. If you were born in that period, you kind of get exactly what I mean, that kind of... It's you get that kind of 80s badassery that you get from like 80s action flicks. While the kind of late 90s, early 2000s had this weird kind of angsty edginess about it, which is kind of very much the theme for Vampire Bloodlines. Actually, that's a really good way of describing it. A bit roundabout. But so, if you want a kind of more recent game which is very similar in terms of the way it works, you can probably look no further than the Deus Ex series, in the sense that you've got these hubs that you effectively get all your quests from, and then you travel from these hubs, and you can enter buildings, you can talk to people, you can pick up loads of gear, you can effectively solve problems in various different ways, though realistically this is an older-ish game, so you can't solve them in that many ways compared to, say, I don't know, Mankind Divided was the latest Deus Ex. But it's an incredibly well-written game. Now, the characters are possibly a little bit narratively over the top, but I think in a good way. So, in a sense of, well, yeah, again, it's that kind of, specifically very niche 90s, early 2000s kind of edginess about everything. But they're really, really compelling. And there are some really fun characters as well, which I might be able to show you one of them in a second now. Yeah, I will, actually. I'll show you what the club owner. But yeah, no, it's got these hubs. I'll actually show you. So, it actually tells you which ones, for if you just check the journal. So you have Santa Monica, Downtown, Hollywood, and Chinatown. And yeah, so you obviously that Chinatown is the last one, which will be towards the end of the game, and you have to kind of effectively complete or do the main quest through a particular section, then you'll be moved on. So as I said, it's an RPG as well. So if we open up here, you probably saw my character sheet. It's easily recognizable if you've played, well, screw it, most of you are here from Fallout, so if you played Fallout, you kind of get what's going on here. So you've got your physical stats here, so obviously it's a bit different, very different to the special system from Fallout, but basically you've got your stats, so strength, dexterity, stamina, pretty kind of straightforward. So just basically stamina makes you tougher and also, be able to run faster. Dexterity, move faster. I know so I've got ring the wrong one. So strength, yeah, dexterity allows you to move faster, and then stamina gives you. And you've got little kind of more social things which affect dialogue. So having a high charisma will enable you to use certain dialogue options, as will manipulation as well. Manipulation lets you haggle, so you can sometimes get people to, give you more money. Appearance can be used in the seduction feat. One thing that these do, similar to the special system in Fallout 4, is stats will be affected by multiple things. So, for example, talents are affected by several things. So sneaking is affected by, I think it's wits, or is it one of them? I think it might be one of them. But basically they all kind of affect each other. And yeah, so you can play this largely kind of non-combat focused if you want. I will just kind of stress a few things kind of getting into this game. It is very, very buggy, so a link in the description to the official patch. If you download the unofficial patch, rather, if you download the unofficial patch, it should be fine. But there are a couple of things I should just probably kind of point you towards. In fact, just even though you can play this reasonably passive, you still have to do quite a bit of combat. I mean, you can sneak, but there will be instances where, you will have to fight bosses. And the later side of the game, especially, you will have a lot of combat, whether you like it or not. But to be honest, once you've, maxed out all your skills and all of your knowledges, you'll just have loads of skill points to actually pop into other things. So it's pretty self-explanatory, it's pretty cool. You kind of get it, just put your cursor over there. Each of the clans, which I'll get to in a sec, have 3 disciplines. Effectively, these are magic or kind of skills you can use. They all work in different ways. They all have an extra one called Blood Buff, which basically just boosts a few of your stats. I think it's just your physical stats, so it makes you stronger. Dexterity, just boosts them a bit. It allows you to do things like lockpick at higher levels, or just if you just want to beat people up a bit easier. But then they have each one of these 3 things. Now, a couple of the clans have 2 of the same ones, so I believe the Nosferatu have Animalism as well, and I think the Brujah have Fortitude, but each one of them has a unique thing that they can have. In the case of the clan I'm playing as, which is the Gangrel, which is, I'll get onto them in a sec, but these guys can transform into kind of werewolves. There actually are werewolves in the game as well, which are the enemies of the vampire, a la, like the Underworld series, but yeah, so I'm playing as the Gangrel, and I can got my protean here, so it's embracing the beast within, so I can kind of, as I invest skill points, it gets tougher, and to the point where I'm just basically like a tiny werewolf ripping people apart. Now, on the subject of the clans, so there are quite a lot of clans in the lore, and there are, I think, 6 playable clans and then 7 clans overall. I'm going to count them in my head. So basically, I'm playing the Gangrel, which, as I said, is the werewolfy type kind of nomadic clan. Then you've got the Brujah, which are the kind of anarchist, kind of anti-authority clan. Then you've got, contrasting them, you've got the Ventru, which are the kind of posh twats, the kind of oligarchs, the leaders of the vampire society, or this specific faction that you're a part of. And then you've got the Tremere, who are like kind of blood mages. And then you've got the Malkavians, who are pretty cool. They're insane. And if you play as a Malkavian, it will actually change all of your dialogue options to be riddles, and everyone will be very confused when they speak to you and comment on how weird it is that you talk. And then there's also the Nosferatu, which is kind of more the creepy, gross vampires, to the point where I wouldn't be able to walk around here as a Nosferatu. Everyone would start screaming, so I actually have to travel the game through the sewers, and I have to use a special skill which enables me to kind of turn into smoke. It's very, very cool. And then there's also an evil sect of vampires called the Tzimisce, who are kind of a mix between the Nosferatu and the Tremere, but they kind of they do all this weird flesh crafting magic. It's very, 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 very cool. Awesomely, as you probably gather already, as I said, that kind of niche, edgy, angsty, late 90s and early 2000s Anne Rice period of just gritty vampireness. It's very, very grand. And yeah, so the game is very, very dialogue heavy, And yeah, it's quite cool. I very recommend. It's one of those games I'm going to try and not gush about, as I'm probably going to, but it is just very, very cool. And I'm very excited for Vampire the Masquerade Bloodline 2 when it drops, because this game is about 15 years old. So to actually see this style of game with this world and this lore kind of rebuilt, or built again, because it's based in Seattle, so it's a new city, in kind of modern engine, I'm really, really excited. It's going to be amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop into the asylum, and we're going to talk to, I believe it's Jeanette. And you can actually see some of the dialogue options, and then I've got a very early game combat mission, which we can do, so you can see a bit of the combat. And so let me just pop in here, skip the load screen. Right, so we're inside the club. I remember this game, I played this game so much that I know that the person I'm going to meet talks to me the second I pop through, and I think the music's awesome as well, so it's very much that kind of, I think just the tail end of the new metal getting into the kind of weirder, when goth and kind of new metal kind of merged and started becoming kind of cyber goth music. It's very, very cool. Loves it completely. Anyway, let's have a chat.
Ooh, what do we have here? Another scrumptious young plaything straight out of life and into my club? You smell new, little boy. Like fabric softener dew on freshly made astroturf. I'm not frightening you, am I, duckling?
So firstly, yeah, this was the era of boob physics. So that's something that's it was made by nerds, right? Yeah, come on, they're D&D nerds. Or what kind of, tabletop nerds? Of course, it's gonna have boob physics. But it is, as you can see, the dialogue options are very. She's a bit over the top. She's probably one of the more. I think it's Jeanette. She's one of the more over the top characters you'll meet, but this kind of overly dramatic, larger than life characters are what you meet, but they're very, very cool and very good fun. Also, as you can see, the dialogue options are very familiar if you've played things like New Vegas or Fallout 3, where you kind of have multiple dialogue options, and these are all in white now, so you can approach them different ways. But if I, for example, had a hired seduction perk, I could actually I could actually start flirting with her, or use perception, or even I can use certain disciplines in dialogue as well. And if I was playing as a Malkavian, I'd have completely different dialogue options. It's very, very, for an old game, it's very, very well done in this element, and you can kind of see why it became such a cult classic. Let's just be nice.
I'm the finger down your spine when all the lights are out, and the name on all the men's room walls. When I pout, the whole world tries to make me smile, and everyone always wants to know who is that girl.
See, I can be all flirty, or I'm not going to be flirty, because ain't nobody got time for that. I'm a loner.
I am Jeanette, and this bit of chaos crammed in a certifiable giggle is my club. I just love to give you funny feelings all night, sweetheart, but I really must trouble with some business. We'll reunite sweet and soon, I promise.
I'm actually pretty sure I've gone to loads. When I moved to London, there used to be, in kind of, when did I move to London? 2007? Yeah, 2007, 2008. Clubs like this were really common. They've kind of died out a little bit now, so like one reason I love about playing this is the sense of nostalgia. So obviously in this point in the game, I don't necessarily should have come in this area right now, because she's kind of one of the, as you can already gather, Ray, she's an important kind of quest giver character. However, I just wanted to kind of show you some dialogue options. You can also properly dance as well. Which, if any of you have been to any cybergoth clubs, know that this is exactly how everyone dances. I think we've all actually seen that ridiculous video where they changed the music to Thomas the Tank Engine. Anywho, before I get a little bit too nostalgic. Anyway, so what I do now, I don't want to spoil anything to you, but I want to kind of give you an idea of how the game feels. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave the club, and I'm going to go to the beach, and then do a little bit of combat. Right, so we're now at a kind of drug dealers and explosive makers house. And the backstory, this is pretty much the first area you get sent in the game, so I'm not really spoiling anything, but I'm just going to tell you the reason why we're here. My contact was beaten up with a baseball bat when he was trying to buy explosives from these guys. So what I need to do now is go and get the explosives, because they never actually gave them to us, and also hopefully collect his money. Now, similar to games like Deus Ex, I can actually do this in multiple different ways, which I'm going to try and show you. Just a quick note is combat in this game, if you're going to do this, I would recommend trying to go stealth and melee. Guns, because it's an RPG, and it's a bit of an older RPG, it works a lot with your firearm skill. And but if your firearm skill is really, really low, you are awful at shooting. And obviously, unless you really invest it right at the start of the game, you're not going to be able to hit shit. So I would probably recommend going as a melee character. Even if you go kind of like as a stealthy character or kind of knowledge, put your points in melee or kind of brawl so it's unarmed. So that way, also in the later game, maybe, you know, ammo becomes a issue if you're going a bit more shooty, and you just might find you enjoy it a little bit more. Maybe do like shooting as a bit an afterthought as opposed to, you know, kind of making it your focus. Just a suggestion. But let's see. So I'm going to try and talk to this guy first. Have a chat.
Help you?
So I can try, for example, so let's see, I can get inside, I can try, so I've decided, because with my guy I'm playing as the gangrel, so they're kind of, you know, the werewolf angry nomadic guys, I've invested my dialogue options into Intimidate. One thing I really liked about this is if I want to RP as kind of maybe more of a less subtle character, I can still do that via dialogue. I don't necessarily, similar to actually Fallout to an extent, but I think with this one they did it quite good in the fact is that nearly everything where I would have a seduction or a persuasion option, I have an intimidation option as well. So I'm going to try that.
Okay, you can go on it. And if you really want to make my night, go ahead and start some shit in there, because I would love it.
So there we go. So I got guys there. That's the guy here. That's the electrolyte I need. Astrolite, rather, not electrolyte. It's called astrolite. It's like, I don't know what it is. So there's various ways I can do this. I actually did this a while ago and then reloaded because I did it in a bit more of a different way. So for example, I can do it like this.
Shove that control up your ass, Al.
So the dialogue is really, really good in this. Like, it's one of those games, you're really going to notice it while you play it. And the fact is that it's just really, really satisfying. The radio especially is amazing. And just, it's one of those, I guess it will shock you how well done a lot of the dialogue option is. Ooh, wrong guy. I'm doing this by memory. Sorry, Al. If I can just stand here, or will he see me? I'm trying to stealth kill this.
Stop right there.
Ah, fuck it. Right, okay, so let's just show you the protein instead. So I was going to try and stealth kill them. Right, so this is me. It's quite funny, right? So if you were to just not talk to that guy and immediately go full werewolf, the guy at the front actually reacts to you differently. He just actually goes, oh shit, like that, because it's the way the game reacts. Like, oh, you've activated the protein, you turned a werewolf, that guy's shat himself when he sees you. Even though, like, in terms of the engine, they're kind of maybe limited in what they can do. I'm not really doing very well, to be honest. Limited in what they can do. There's still a surprisingly large amount of... They're pushing it as far as they can do it. Let's eat this guy. Come here. Oh, I missed. There we go. Nom 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 nom. Drain him dry. I'm a vampire at all. And there's one guy left. Should we just beat him to death? Oh wait, no, there's two. Where's mate boy? Where's mate boy? There he is. There we go. Nom 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 nom. I love whenever this is the leader of the little gang, as you can see. He has way more blood as well, so people with a higher pedigree, so posh people or kind of characters like this have loads more blood, so they're a little bit more of a nicer snack. And voila, everyone's dead. So, and I can pick up their guns, pick up ammo. So, like, for example, in terms of how the characters interact with the game, they've done it quite well, especially in dialogue options, like I said. So, for example, if I was playing as a character with high seduction, I could actually flirt my way in. Depending on the sexuality of the character, I could try and sleep with that guy, which is one thing you can actually do if you're a woman. There are a few gay characters as well, so you can still do that with them. And also I can use, if I was the Ventru, I could actually use my Dominate on them. So instead of even basically kind of like Jedi powers, effectively. I've already got a baseball bat, so I can't pick anymore. I've got one of those, cool. Yes, I can use like almost Jedi mind tricks, and you can just walk in and get them to give you everything you like. I could play as a Nosferatu, and then when you get to the door, they'll just scream at me. It's a surprisingly in-depth game, which is why I'm gushing over it so much. So I remember where the money is. Spoiler, it's down here. Just need to get it from here. It's when you've played a game so much that you know where everything is. Ooh, I'll be a little bit careful on doors. You can get stuck. And let's get my Astrolight. And, ooh, hello. Yeah, I got stuck on a door earlier. Right, and as you can see, you get XP. I'm going to get outside. My quest log gets updated. I get stuck on chairs. The actual kind of decoration in some of these buildings is a bit wank, admittedly, but you know, it is what it is. So let's just have a look at my characters. I've got 3 XP. I can improve my computer skills, actually. Might not be a bad shout. I tend to, even though I'm going kind of like, see, because my character has that werewolf thing, I can effectively maybe not have to worry about investing in my melee and my combat skills so much, because that will effectively make up for them. So what I'm going to do is actually invest a little bit into, you can invest in finance, into my computer skills and get those up to at least level 3. Brilliant. Right, I don't want to spoil anything else, so I'm going to actually leave that right there. I've shown you a little bit of the conversation, a little bit of the dialogue, and a little bit of the combat as well. As I said, link in the descriptions to the game on Steam and on GOG, so definitely check both to see if they're on sale. It's definitely worth your time. It's got an incredibly deep lore to it. It's got a really compelling, just kind of general kind of backstory, and also the characters are really engaging. This game actually boasts, I don't know, maybe it have the same effect on people now, but it boasts one of my favourite horror levels of all time. Probably less creepy now, however, I still think it's quite creepy even after playing it, though that admittedly might be just because I've got, you know, associations with it. But also, again, the characters are really cool. Obviously, there is room for improvement. There's no, more or less zero character customization, so you get to pick your clan and your sex, but you don't actually get to pick the way they look. All of the clothes look the same, pretty much, so you'll always start with this if I'm playing a gangrel. All the characters, I think, look really decent, but you don't have any customization to make them look how you like. When you get new clothing, they will change their outfits, but those outfits are set. But yes, and the shooting is maybe a little bit hard, and it is buggy as shit. However, if you get the unofficial patch, it won't be. So anyway, I'm going to leave that there. I've gushed enough. One thing I'm going to do, and if this is a game you're interested in, I will be keeping an eye on all Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, or even if it doesn't become a massive game on the channel, I just want to, it's one of my big childhood games, you know what I mean? So absolutely, when news drops of this, which I think merits a video, there will be a video on it. Anyway, until that point, you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Hopefully, you're enjoying the Fashion Up Parade in Fallout 76 like me. I've nearly got all the recipes. Haven't got any of the rare masks, but oh well. But yeah, you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend and enjoy your week next week. You take care.